Welcome back to The Burn with Ryan Van Deaver, presented to you by Hot Zone Sports. The information that you need, built with you in mind, for the people, by the people, and with the people. Now, MinshewMania is back. And it's back for 2024 with the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Raiders named Gardner Minshew the second as their starting quarterback for the upcoming season. Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce announced Sunday that Minshew won the starting job over second-year quarterback Aiden O'Connell. Minshew rose to prominence in 2019 when he started 12 games during his rookie year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, during that season, he threw for 21 touchdowns, breaking a rookie franchise record. Yeah, I said that. Minshew played in Jacksonville for 2 seasons before spending 2 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Minshew spent last season with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm an expert on the subject matter. He started 13 games and ended up playing in 17. He threw for a career-high 3,305 yards and 15 touchdowns with a 62.2% completion percentage. However, he was also sacked 34 times, and he threw 9 interceptions. What I will say with what the Raiders are getting is they are getting basically a career backup, except for last year. The problem with Minshew is he's going to throw an interception at the worst possible time. But I will give it to him. When Anthony Richardson went down last season, what he ended up doing is he came in and, you saw the result. Colts almost made the playoffs with him at the helm. So you're not getting a horrible quarterback. So I do love the move. I do. Aiden O'Connell, you don't really know what you got with him, but just like any organization in the NFL, you're going to want to win now. And Minshew gives you that best opportunity because you saw what you had in AOC or Aiden O'Connell last year. But this is the right choice at the right time. This isn't a slam dunk by any means. He isn't the second coming of Rich Gannon. But based on the options left, this is the right call by Antonio Pierce. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to put him on your fantasy team and draft him as, a QB7. But he is a very serviceable quarterback for the needs that the Raiders need. But let's not misunderstand. If the Raiders have a good year, it won't be because of Minshew. He is serviceable, but he won't be the reason for their success this season. This was the right option at the right time. This was the right option at the right time kind of deal. So, what is the ceiling for the Raiders with Gardner Minshew at the helm as their QB1? Now, you have the Chiefs, obviously, at the top of the AFC West, but the rest of the division is wide open. The Chargers have looked dreadful in the preseason with Jim Harbaugh. They are going to do a ground and pound offense. Justin Herbert is supposed to be back by week 1, but nobody knows. With that plantar fascia, don't tell anybody, but I've had it. I still have it. But I'm obviously not a football player, but I walk on it every single day. And the problem is it's a lingering issue. It's going to last throughout the season. I don't care how many trolls online tell me that it's not going to. You probably don't even know how to even pronounce the damn thing. But the fact of the matter is it's going to be a lingering issue. You can go ahead and book that. even if he is back, they're going to hand the ball off 35 to 40 times and minimize the impact Herbert could make. You saw it at Michigan. Oh, you saw it at Stanford. You saw it with the 49ers, how he protected Kaepernick. Everybody knew Kaepernick's arm accuracy was piss poor, but hey, you found a way to protect him because you had a good running game. Then you have the Broncos. If you look at their depth chart, it is just a complete hot mess all over the place. There's no consistency. You know, Bo Nix has looked great this preseason against backups. If everybody plays backups, then yeah, he'll have a John Elway type impact, but that's not how it works. Not a lot of teams have ever played backups in the NFL ever. Now, as for the Raiders, Gardner Minshew, I see as slightly above average. He'll win you about 3 games with great stats. He'll be talked about as one of the guys with the top headlines for 3 games. He will blow you away with his stats. Yeah, for another 3 games, he will lose you the game with the bad stats, bad gameplay, bad interceptions, bad sacks. You will wonder, why in the hell did we sign him to begin with? When is he going to be released? Where is Aiden O'Connell type games? That's what above average to me means. One thing you can say about Minshew is he's never had a wide receiver as dominant as Davante Adams. So that adds to the equation. Even with the number 1 wide receiver from the Colts last season, Michael Pittman, he's not sniffing what Davante Adams has done in a career. Nobody sees Pittman as a guy that scares the living shit out of you. Davante Adams, he can scare the living shit out of you. You know, you have Brock Bowers. That's stud tight end out of Georgia. Thank you, Raiders, for drafting him over the Colts. I highly appreciate that. The Raiders are saying that he's going to be great. I think we all freaking knew that. And he's going to make a ton of plays. So those are legit playmakers for Minshew. Now, if you're a half glass full type of person for the Raiders, you're going to say that the Raiders should rely on their defense, and their defense is what's going to take them places this season, led by Max Crosby. If you're looking at a glass half empty type of deal, you're going to look at Luke Getsy, the new offensive coordinator from the Chicago Bears. He is a horrible play caller. He was with the Bears. Just look at what he did with Justin Fields. He made Justin Fields look absolutely dreadful. He made that offense look absolutely dreadful. So I will say a prayer for you right now, Raiders fans. I really hope Getsy learns something in the offseason on how to actually call plays. But Getsy is the one that's going to be in charge of the offense. So that's going to be the big problem here. So I would not expect great offense by any means, but maybe it can be serviceable just enough to where the defense can be relied on. Max Crosby can do his thing along with the other playmakers they got. That's really what you got going on with the Raiders. So congratulations for MinshewMania. making it to Vegas. But I still think that Aiden O'Connell at some point this season is going to take over, whether it be because of an injury, whether it be because Gardner Minshew just isn't cutting it. And that is a possibility as well. Now, there's a bit of a conundrum in Pittsburgh. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a bit of an issue with their quarterbacks. I'm sure you've seen this absolutely everywhere. But the Steelers quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, the quarterbacks are just, there's only one way to describe it. They're awful. The quarterbacks here are awful. The offense is awful. Wilson had 5 drives in his last preseason game, and he had 1 first down. He had 10 quarterback hits, and 4 sacks were given up, and these quarterbacks are mobile. The offensive line is absolutely horrifying. But this is really a trending topic with both of these quarterbacks. You know, in the last 2 years, these are the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. Blame it on what you want. Maybe both of them had horrible offensive lines. Maybe both of them had horrible offensive coordinators, horrible coaches. Well, Eberflus is still there for the Bears, and Peyton is still there for the Broncos. So take that for what you will. But watching them play, you can really see that they are skittish and they just don't want to get hit. They may have left their previous teams, but both of them landed in the same situation. Bad offensive line country. They can't run the ball. Last year, they were ranked middle of the league, and it even looked like Najee Harris regressed a bit. I can't tell you how many 2-yard rushes I saw from him. It was a lot. Now, total yards per game, this going back 5 years, combining these past 5 years together, they're ranked 30th in the league. Yeah, let that sink in a little bit. When you look at the Steelers, one thing stands true. They've always been able to draft talent on the defensive side of the ball. Always. When it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I'd go back 7 years or so. They've had the same certain type of ineptitude to them. Ever since Roethlisberger's last couple of seasons, you could see how inept they really were. They haven't been able to fill the void of the most important position on the field. And now, that seems no different. Continuing, Tomlin has run through offensive coordinators like kids eat candy on Halloween. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, but it's still pretty damn bad. They just got another offensive coordinator, so we'll see how that ends up. My guess is the same. So what's the definition of insanity again? Yeah. The Steelers do everything well. They do. They draft well. They sign free agents, the right free agents, and they develop their draft picks. They're just completely inept when it comes to their offense. Whether you have Pickett, Mason Rudolph, now Fields and Russell, I would really expect much of the same. They have always had good ownership. Unlike a lot of the teams out there. Just look at the Colts ownership. That's all I'm going to say. But for the past 7 seasons or so, you have seen an offense that has been non-existent. And that is a problem in the National Football League. Gone are the days of the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, where defense ruled. Defense was king. If you had the number one offense going up against the number one defense would always find a way to win that game. Those days are gone. When you had the Chiefs go up against the 49ers in the Super Bowl last season, 49ers defense was one of the top of the league. And no surprise, the Chiefs offense was one of the top in the league as well. We all know how that ended up. So who is the clear favorite for your QB1? The Steelers have a really good defense that can be relied upon, and they will be relied upon. Do not question that at all. But when it comes down to the versions of quarterbacks that we saw this past weekend for the Steelers, Russell Wilson isn't going to give this team the best way to win. In a division where you have the Bengals, Browns, and Ravens in the AFC North, good God, if they play Wilson throughout the season, they will finish at the bottom of the division. That is what will happen. With the moments that Justin Fields has given us in the preseason, talking about moments here, listen to the words. He is going to be the better option and with more upside. If you haven't seen that, maybe you should go back and rewatch the games. Hell, look at the highlights. That's even better. The Steelers will be more competitive in this division if Fields starts over Wilson. Justin Fields just has more upside than Wilson. Wilson doesn't have any upside anymore. Let's just keep it 100. Like, he doesn't. There are things physically that Fields can do that Wilson just can't. You would think that an experienced, knowledgeable quarterback like Wilson is, you would get a little more than what you're getting right now. And certainly you would get better efficiency at the quarterback position. But when you watch him, he's taking sacks, the ball is being released late. You're just not getting what he should be at this moment in his career. Yeah, both quarterbacks hold on to the ball way too long. Let's not get it twisted. But Fields has the opportunity to scramble and throw a deep ball downfield, as you have seen in the preseason. Wilson just holds on to the ball too long. And then his kryptonite hits, and he takes sacks. 10 seasons where Wilson has been sacked 40 times or more. 40. This is one of the reasons why he was available to the Steelers and why Peyton and him clashed. He just held on to the ball too damn long, and then he would have an open receiver and he'd just take the check down. That's a problem. Yes, he was good last weekend. Good accuracy. But guess what? When you're throwing the ball for under 5 yards per pass play, that's not going to win you games. In the preseason, you shouldn't be giving up 3 sacks like Wilson did. You should be looking more crisp. I mean, you were the more experienced quarterback in the room, but he's not playing that part. The preseason should feel easy for him up to this point in his career. It should just be like a walkthrough, really. Now, if you rewind a month ago, you didn't know what you were getting out of Wilson or Fields. But if you fast forward till now, you know exactly what you're going to get out of both guys. So me personally, I would go with Justin Fields as a starter. He is more of an ascending trajectory when it comes to his progression. Wilson seems to be just tapped out, capped up, whatever you want to call it. The only type of progression you're going to see is regression. But Wilson has only proven that he will continue to get worse. So there's going to be a conundrum. There's going to be a conundrum in Pittsburgh. Now, I'm not saying that the offense for the Steelers is going to be one of the best in the league. If they got Brandon Ayuk, okay, that that might help. But Brandon Ayuk is probably looking at this offense in the preseason saying, hey, 49ers, what's your best offer? Because really right now, the Steelers offense just looks completely paltry. But they're going to have to figure out this quarterback position. And I don't know if they're going to figure it out by week 1. Now, moving on to a franchise that does not have an issue at quarterback. Yep, that's right. The Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams had another great showing, going 6 for 13 for 75 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Caleb Williams, he's just playing cool, calm, and collected. Like nothing is going to face him. Yes, it's preseason. But you can tell if you look closely how good he's going to be during the season. When the pocket breaks down, how does he recognize it? What does he do in turn? When none of his pass catchers are open and the pocket is collapsing, what does he do? He's checking all of these boxes for me. He maintains his composure in the pocket. His pocket presence is really, really good for a rookie at this stage. And it's only preseason. And he does all the right things. Now, does he roll out too much when the pocket hasn't collapsed? Yes. But that is who he is. That is what he did at USC, and that is what you will expect to do here. When you come into the NFL as a rookie, one thing you can expect is that the speed of the game is going to be faster. That has been proven for decades. But Williams is playing just like he did at USC. We knew that he wasn't great in the pocket, which is why you see him roll out as much as he does. But what was ridiculous was his making plays outside of the pocket. Rolling out, making a play with his arms or his legs. The crazy thing is that he's making it look easy. Almost too easy. We just got done talking about Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, who have been struggling mightily in preseason. But this man, Williams, is just making it look far too easy. There's not a synonym out there that can make the word easy any easier. The NFC North with Jordan Love and Caleb Williams is going to be fun to watch for years to come. Yeah, you can say, Ryan, you're overreacting. It's only preseason. But I can guarantee right now there are defensive coordinators out there game planning for their matchups. The first 10 weeks of the season is only going to make things easier. Besides the Texans in week 2, I don't see a game where the Bears can't win. You got the Titans, Colts, Rams, Panthers, Jaguars. Maybe they'll struggle with them. Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots, then Packers to start off the division play. They could easily be 8-2 or 9-1 by the time they play the Packers. Talk about a boatload of confidence for Caleb Williams entering division play. Yeah, seeing him in college, you could tell some things were going to translate to the NFL. I'm no scout, but I know ball. You could see that Lincoln Riley didn't know how to put a team together. But we're not going to get into that right now. Williams was better than anybody on the field when he played most times, and it clearly showed. But what also showed was when his offense ran up against a top-tier defense like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish last year or the Oregon Ducks, he would struggle. So that is going to be one thing to keep your eye on. How is he going to adapt to that situation? But let's keep it real here. These stats in the preseason won't matter. But the little things do. Like I said earlier. Just think about when he gets more comfortable with the offense. Because right now, he doesn't know the odds and ends of the offense. It's a new offense. It's not the USC offense that he's running in college. It's a brand new playbook. He's got brand new teammates that he's gonna have to get chemistry with. So there's lots of things that he's gonna have to figure out there. But he doesn't know in the offense where his guys should be at, where they shouldn't be at. You know, he's held the ball too long because he wasn't sure about certain aspects of a play. He's got a long way to go, but his trajectory is only going to go up. That is one thing I can say with 100% certainty. I've never seen a quarterback come into the league and have this many weapons. Have you? If you have, leave a comment in the comments section. Because I don't remember the last time I saw a quarterback come into the league with these many weapons. Peyton Manning, when he came in the league? No. When you're the first pick of the NFL draft, you are expected to have a shit on your team. Andrew Luck? You had Reggie Wayne. Anybody else? No. Trevor Lawrence? Nope. Bryce Young? Most recent? Hell no. We all know how that ended up. There's a reason why the Bears got the number 1 pick. Thank you, Carolina Panthers. You don't come into the league and immediately have an arsenal like Williams does. Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. It's absolutely ridiculous. Caleb Williams' stock is up, and it's getting way up. One thing you can say about him is he has the it factor coming into the league, whether you like his painted fingernails or not. Take the preseason out of it, though. In reality, just take the preseason out of it. The throws he's making, the scrambles he's making, it's special. If you're a Packers fan or a Vikings fan or a Lions fan, you have to admit this. The sooner you admit it, the better. Bears fans should be excited about Williams. Now, if you're on social media, you see a lot of Bears fans, a lot of Bears pages. They are chasing this clickbait, and I don't blame them. From what I've seen so far, Williams, he's special. The thing about the Bears quarterbacks is, I'm sure it's not a surprise. Their quarterback room for years has been determined by failure. I mean, except if you think about Rex Grossman leading them to a Super Bowl in 2006, eventually losing to the Indianapolis Colts. Thank you, Bears. They had Cutler, for Christ's sake, and they looked at him as one of the best in franchise history. I mean, I personally believe Jim McMahon is the greatest, but that's up to debate for the other shows. But one thing that we can all say about Caleb Williams is if you put him under a microscope and you know anything about ball and you watch his highlights or even just watch his game like I did past weekend, you can see how special he is. In reality, it's going to translate into the regular season. Because, yeah, these defenses are playing soft, bland, vanilla coverages against him. But one thing that comes with you playing in a big-time conference with Oregon, Washington, you're going to see all of these curveball coverages. You're going to see all these blitzkriegs. You're going to see all the stuff that you're going to see in the NFL. So he's already halfway there and knowing how to recognize it. And from everything that's been coming out of Chicago is that he is just a football nut. I'm not comparing him to Peyton Manning, but I'm saying, in the same respect, Peyton Manning was a video nerd. He would stay in that room examining defenses, and from all reports, that's all we've been seeing about Caleb Williams. So you're seeing a lot of good stuff come out about this man, and I can only see, the future is bright in Chicago, man. The NFC North, that's going to be a fun division to watch for years to come. Another team that hasn't been having many issues with the quarterback position is Bo Nix. Bo Nix has been setting the Broncos world on fire, and fans are clamoring for Nix to be the long-awaited answer for their quarterback woes throughout the years. Just like the Bears, it's been kind of a revolving door when it comes to their quarterback position. But his performance on Sunday night, it didn't slow the excitement any. If the Broncos were leaning towards Nix starting the season opener, and really all indications are that's the case, then Nix might be announced as the QB1 soon. The 12th pick of the NFL draft looked very good against the Green Bay Packers. It wasn't much of a game. If you actually tuned in, I'm sorry. This was a quality follow-up game to a nice game in the preseason opener. Really, it would be stunning at this point if Nix isn't named the starter for the regular season opener. He has been the one that has been leading this offense that has just been completely dominant on the field. the Broncos offense moves with Nix as at quarterback. It did in the preseason opener, and it did again on Sunday night. Nix hasn't had ridiculous highlight passes downfield like Caleb Williams this preseason, but he has made the right decisions often and looked in the type of the rhythm with head coach Sean Payton, what he looks for in his quarterbacks. Now, in the Broncos' 20-7-2 win over the Green Bay Packers on Sunday night, Nix played in the second quarter Sunday. He completed 8 of 9 passes for 80 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, his passer rating was 140.7. That's pretty good. After that, it would take no sense for the Broncos to start Jarrett Stidham over Nix. There would be no logic in that whatsoever. However, we will have to wait on the official word from Payton. Yeah, he's been good. I also thought, in the NFL draft, he was a bit of a reach for the Broncos in the first round. He's one of the oldest quarterback prospects to come out of the NFL draft in league history. And that's never a good thing to mortgage the future of the franchise on a quarterback who's going to be 25 around the time his rookie season comes to an end. However, if his play becomes what the Broncos need to get back into contention on a yearly basis, I think it's easy to forego the idea that his age is an issue. And when I go back and I look at the highlights, when I look at his tape, I see a quarterback who looks like he's been around a block a time or two. He is calm and collected for a rookie, and he exudes a comfortability both in the pocket and when he's on the run. One thing that will help him is if Javonte Williams can get back to his normal form. It would be a huge weight off Nix's shoulders in terms of how much he has to carry the team this year. You do not want Bo Nix out there throwing 35 to 40 times. That is not going to be good for the overall comfortability of your rookie quarterback. No rookie quarterback is going to be successful if he's doing that. Even Caleb Williams. But this performance by Nix generated a lot of buzz from the people around the NFL on Twitter. So, I'm going to read you a couple, and then I'm going to give you my reaction. Andrew Siciliano said, I don't think Bo Nix is giving his job back regardless of whether or not he was beyond the line of scrimmage. There was a pass that was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage, and it was called back. It was a really, really big play for a touchdown. Chase Daniel, former NFL quarterback, he said, Bo Nix is so fun to watch. They move the ball so easily when he's in. Wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton names him the starter. I was in the Broncos quarterback meeting room Thursday night, and it was so cool to watch how Bo Nix learns. Davis Webb does such a good job with that entire room. Albert Breer, he said, when Bo Nix is in, the Broncos offense moves the ball. It sort of seems like it's simple. Ian Rappaport, I'm sure everybody knows this legend. The Broncos haven't announced Bo Nix as their starter yet, but you feel his comfort level as he continues to get used to the calls coming in. You've got to feel the poise when he's playing. Ed Werder from ESPN says, Bo Nix looks exceptional. Expect Payton makes him the week 1 starter. Peyton is going to enjoy game planning for him, calling plays, and developing his talent. And Louis Riddick said, yes, it's preseason. Yes, Bo Nix looks very comfortable. Now, what I will say about that is Bo Nix has been impressive this preseason. Throughout the offseason, training camp, and he will be named the starting quarterback sometime this week. That is going to be my prediction. He has looked impressive, poised, completely in total control of the offense, and really just like the quarterback we saw at Oregon. Pairing him with an offensive guru / genius like Sean Payton was the best possible fit for both, and I expect this type of play to continue moving forward. The quarterback position is very important, as everybody knows, and it usually tells you right away if a quarterback has the it factor or not. And Nix is quickly showing that he has that it factor. How good he will be remains to be seen, but there is enough here to have you very optimistic about his future moving forward if you're a Broncos fan. One thing I will say about the preseason is the offense that you are going to be running for a rookie quarterback is going to be vanilla, very bland. It's going to be the type of offense that they ran at their college. So it's going to be the type of offense that was ran at Oregon. So we won't truly know what he's like until the regular season, when defensive coordinators start to game plan for him. Once, you get the regular season film. But one thing that I can say is, so far in the preseason, you can see that he's got that it factor, and he could be the future for the Broncos. Now, the Broncos are going to have to protect that asset, meaning you're going to have to call the right plays. And Peyton has enough experience about that. So I think it's going to be a pretty solid season for him. He's going to need a lot of help in the running game. That way, he isn't expected to throw 30 to 40 times a game. But it's going to be fun to watch. Between him, Caleb Williams, Jalen Daniels, it's going to be a fun season to watch for the quarterbacks. And it's going to be, I just can't wait for the NFL. Can you wait for the NFL? Because it is right around the corner. I know Thursday night the Colts are playing. I know Thursday night college football starts. I mean, if you want to talk about football, you got European football that's playing as well. You got all sorts of football going on. But that is going to be it for today's episode of The Burn. Thank you for tuning in and making me your first listen of the day. If you have not liked and subscribed our YouTube, or you are not following our content on Spotify or Apple, go ahead and do so. It helps us out a lot. And that is going to be it. I hope everybody has an outstanding Wednesday. Peace.